Insiders, get your popcorn ready because I have just exclusively interviewed royal author Andrew Lownie and I am about to share some bombshells with you. I asked him about the allegations that Meghan Markle was a yacht girl. I spoke to him about the smear campaign Andrew and Sarah have launched that is being funded by an Arab billionaire to discredit what Andrew Lownie is saying, and the links to Soho House and Ron Burkle and Epstein. So I am going to share a snippet of this interview with you. You can watch the full interview on the Sean Atwood channel, but sit back and let's go through this because I like to go down the rabbit hole and I like to bring you the truth. And so, what I want to say to anyone watching this, if you have information that could help Andrew Lownie piece things together, his contact details are widely available. You can reach out to him on all of the social platforms because we have questions, insiders, and we need answers. So, let me get this clip up. Get back in your box. But we are the media, Andrew, and we will not get back in our box. We will continue to tell the truth. Now, on that note, my X account is full of people asking me the same question. And I wonder if you can put an end to this and explain it. Did Meghan Markle know Jeffrey Epstein before she met Harry? There's lots and lots of reports about her being a yacht girl and various different allegations. And obviously, we know that if you are a yacht girl, it's very hard for anyone to prove it because that is why, that is how certain elites behave. I just want to interject here to say, if the only thing that's required as a yacht girl is eating and sunbathing, I would make a fantastic yacht girl. Having done my research, I believe there are more requirements when one is a yacht girl. So that would definitely rule me out. I would be a terrible yacht girl. Continue. Has that come up at all in your research or from any sources?
Well, I mean, I've seen the accounts. I've not seen anything that's persuasive. I mean, the pictures, for example, they show are of a trip in January 2001, I think, on a boat in Thailand with Nellie Hooper and Jenny Frost and others, and Meghan isn't there. I've not come across any references to Meghan and Epstein in this period, but there's an awful lot about Epstein that we don't know. And we know that Andrew met Epstein probably at least 6 or already 10 years earlier than he says, but there's very little coverage of that. We had Beatrice Kuhl, the former Miss Switzerland, saying that one of the inducements to her when she was introduced to or met Epstein was that she could meet Prince Andrew. This was in 1993, and he said he met Epstein in 1999. The one thing that I have said, and I think I just discussed with you last time, is someone, a source in Thailand, has come forward who I don't think knew any of these stories and has talked about links between Andrew and Meghan in Thailand.
All right. This is a public announcement. Do we have any Thai insiders? If we have anyone in Thailand that has information, reach out to me or Andrew Lownie. Continue.
And that's clearly where where Andrew used to go and play. It's where he had his. He just spent a lot of free time there. He used to often stay with a man called Johan Eliash. So it's a question of trying to find evidence of his movements in Thailand at a time when Meghan was there and whether they could have met.
Wow.
We do have, clearly people like David Boyes saying that he would call Meghan to give evidence. So he clearly knows something, but he's not saying anything at the moment.
So I'm sure everyone knows, but that is Virginia Giuffre's lawyer.
About that. But yeah, if we can, place her and Andrew at the same time, whether it's in Thailand or elsewhere, much earlier than everyone assumes, then that would be interesting. I mean, she claims that she didn't even know who Prince Andrew was, which is ridiculous because I don't think you could, open a newspaper.
Well, she claims she didn't know anything about the Blimmin' royal family, didn't she?
Yes,
She's
exactly.
Porkies.
And then we have pictures of her in front of Buckingham Palace. So, here is another, I'm afraid, serial liar.
Serial liar. And Andrew Lownie is someone that I do really trust. He's diligent, he is incredibly smart, and he's incredibly thorough. And that's what I love about interviewing him and also his book. And what I think we should really remember with this is the time in which we're referring to regarding Epstein, Andrew, Meghan, and allegations and looking to tie anything together. And obviously, it's important to reiterate these are just, unsubstantiated at the moment. But this was a time when it's very different to now. It wasn't the era of camera phones, it wasn't the era of social media, it wasn't the time when there would be such a prominent digital footprint. But this is where I want you to listen carefully. This is not just a random source in Thailand who may want to be part of a narrative. Oh no. Listen carefully to the prominence of Andrew Lownie's Thai sources. They are not irrelevant and they very much are in positions where they would be known and they would have access to information, in my opinion.
But the question is trying to get evidence, and no one has produced it. I would love to hear from them if they have evidence, but it all is very circumstantial, and I say none of the photographic evidence stands up. There's certainly a very interesting connection with Marcus Anderson. Clearly, he's a great Svengali figure in her life, but again, I haven't linked Marcus Anderson to Andrew. Having said that, there's a man called Ron Burkle, who was part of Soho House. And I have linked Ron Burkle to Andrew and clearly to Meghan Markle.
So let's just take a pause and let's discuss Ron Burkle. So Ron Burkle is very, very connected to a lot of people that are not very nice, actually. And let's put this sorry, this is where we remember I'm not great with the tech side, guys. So hang on, there you go. Let's put this creature up. So Ron Burkle is the executive chairman of the board at Soho House. So we know Harry and Meghan's ties to Soho House and obviously with Marcus. Now, I have a source that told me, who used to work at Soho House, that Ron Burkle had an apartment above. What is it? Let me just double check the name of it. I always like to be. Is it White City House? What's the one in? There's an East London. Hang on. East London Soho House. What's it called? I don't go out, so I believe it may be Shoreditch. No, it's not Shoreditch House. I'm going to find out the actual name of it and I'm going to put it online for you guys. But there's lots of Soho houses around London. And Ron Burkle had a private entrance in and out of Soho House, of his own apartment there. And Soho House, I don't know if many of you have been. It's awful. It's a lot of people sat around like just wanting to be seen. Yes, everyone see me. Hello. Yes. And this is where people pay over £1,000 a year just for the privilege of walking through the door to eat substandard food, overpriced drinks, and you're not allowed to be on your phone in there. And it's where lots of industry people do their meetings. They don't really, though. They all just are looking for other people to see that they're there as like a kind of hierarchy stamp, like you're important. And when it comes to Marcus and Ron Burkle and Meghan Markle and all of that clique, it's very easy to network at Soho House because everyone is ultimately of the same ilk. There's a real elitist arrogance to people there. And so Ron Burkle, I would argue, is not someone I would want to associate with because he has been an investor in Diddy's fashion brand. He is godfather to Diddy's children. He is friends with Naomi Campbell. Now, many of you might look and say, oh, Naomi Campbell, the supermodel. No, I don't. I say Naomi Campbell, who pays a publicist a lot of money, in my opinion, to make you forget that she's lobbed phones at people. She's been chucked off the board of a charity because it was buying her. I mean, the list is endless as to what the funds were spent on. I'll tell you what they weren't spent on. They weren't spent on charity. They weren't spent on doing good work. So she's grifty and I don't like her. And I can't get sued by Naomi for saying that because that is my opinion. I've met her, not a very nice woman, in my opinion. So on we go with Ron Burkle. We've still got more to go with Andrew Lownie. So, Diddy's billionaire buddy, Ron Burkle, is no stranger to controversy. And so, here we have a little section of the article. Ron Burkle is currently in headlines for his failed bid to erect an outlandish townhouse in the British countryside. We don't want you, Ron. Don't come here. But the billionaire investor, whose portfolio includes tech giants like Uber and Airbnb, note to self, stop getting Uber and don't book Airbnb, the stylish hotel chain Soho House, and the NHL's Pittsburgh Penguins, is hardly a newcomer to controversy. In fact, his personal history is riddled with ties to contentious and disgraced public figures: Sean Diddy Coombs, Bill Clinton, Jeffrey Epstein, and Michael Jackson, to name a few. Massive lawsuits, often related to his aggressive business tactics, and a saga involving the FBI that resulted in a New York Post writer being fired for extortion. You don't sound like a very nice person, Ron Burkle. And I would also say that Meghan Markle seems to also surround herself with people that are not very nice, amplifying bully Chrissy Teigen. Yeah, we've seen that. Endorsing Balenciaga, who promote child abuse because that's what they do from the campaign they previously launched. I fail to see how anyone could argue that they are not doing that with the BDSM campaign images they included in a past campaign. Oprah Winfrey, not a very nice lady. The list is endless as to how Meghan Markle actively chooses to surround herself with people that are very questionable. And so here we have the board of Soho House. This is taken from their website today. And right at the bottom, we've got Marcus Anderson, the secretary. So Marcus Anderson is the secretary, the chief relationships officer for Soho House. And Ron Burkle, as we know, is the executive chairman of the board. So I think we can quite confidently assume Meghan has met Ron Burkle and probably knows a little bit about him. Perhaps not. Let's just be legally careful with this, insiders. But let's see what Andrew Lownie continues to say.
So Ron
And
Burkle
Ron
may be the key.
Burkle was also, or is also, the godfather, I believe, of Diddy's children. It's a very, Ron Burkle had a flat above the Soho House in East London. What do you know? Can you remember what it's called? I don't go out, so I'm not very good socially at that, naming the places. But it's in East London, and I know from a contact that worked at Soho House, he had his own entrance, private entrance in and out.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I do know that, I mean, where the Royals seem to do also a great place where they used to go and play was Toronto. So if any of your listeners or watchers have any information about what the Royals were up to, certainly Prince Philip did stuff there, and certainly Prince Andrew. They used to use a hotel called the Windsor Arms to entertain their girlfriends. So again, if people have any information there, that may help fill in the gaps in the puzzle. So it's, in some ways, the great thing is with social media is our people who will come forward, who have little insights, perhaps who worked there or saw them or heard stories, and that's how we can kind of begin to find out what's really happened. But there are huge gaps, as I say, in Epstein and Andrew's life in the 1990s, which I'd love to fill in.
And that's also a really hard time to fill in as well, because there aren't digital footprints like we have now. And so this is where people on the ground, we need you coming forwards if you have information and coming to Andrew, because this could really be, the final pieces of the puzzle. Where are you with your sourcing in Thailand? Is that in development to try and get it over the line with the Meghan allegations they've said?
Well, I have a couple of sources in Thailand. I mean, one a Reuters journalist, one a former
A Reuters journalist as a source. Ding, ding, ding. Andrew Lownie's paperback is going to be phenomenal. Continue.
diplomat there, one a member of the Thai royal family, and then
Thai royal family as a source. Oh, if anyone can get these allegations over the line, it is Andrew Lownie. Continue.
actually another sort of Thai socialite. But clearly, if there's anyone, I mean, again, one of my sources was somebody who worked for the Department of Trade and Industry, but who wasn't responsible for some of Andrew's trips to Thailand.
Oh, that is a very big contact. I have full faith in this allegation developing nicely, insiders.
But there may be people who went to some of these resorts. Who used to go to the Annapurna resort quite a lot. So if there are people who can add to this story, that would be fantastic. I mean, I did a podcast where someone came forward and was a dog walker who saw Fergie coming out of one of Epstein's flats several years after she claimed to cut off contact. So that was a fantastic new element to the story from this woman who came forward, called Coco P. So I'm always grateful to watchers, who do have something to add, or questions that they can raise. Someone has made the point that Eugenie runs a charity called the Anti-Slavery Collective. She has large sums of money that she's raised, and yet she spends very little as a small donation to her own mother's charity. So at a time when they're laundering their reputation, saying that they're doing as much as they can to support trafficked women, here is an opportunity which they're not really taking advantage of. And someone on social media pointed out that the grooming gangs in Britain would be a very obvious area to be able to give money to, and perhaps.
So there we have it. So, insiders, I want to be really clear. These are allegations that a source of Andrew Lownie's has made. They are not substantiated, they are not proven yet. I also want to say that I know lots of people will see things online where they've found things regarding the yachting and the Meghan and everything like that. I personally have not found anything that I can categorically say with 100%, of like where I'm 100% convinced that this is absolutely true. This is not AI. If you have anything, send me an email. My email's widely available online. Drop me a DM, send me an X. But what I would say is, having spent time at Soho House before and having been in some of those circles, it, I would say, is a playground for the world's powerful, the world's elite. Not that I think they're elite, but those one percenters. And not that I was ever a one percenter. I just went in with someone that had a membership. Well, I wanted to see what it was all about. But it's kind of like soft play for people that don't want to be photographed. So everyone, I would describe it like everyone, when they walk through the doors to somewhere like Soho House, those, expensive private members clubs that are run by Ron Burkle. And we've seen, what kind of operation Diddy was operating. And Ron Burkle is the godfather to Diddy's children. So hopefully Ron Burkle is going to distance himself from Diddy. But we've seen all of these allegations. And so when someone walks through the door at the likes of Soho House, they've all got something to lose. And that is why there's no phones, there's no cameras. It is not allowed. It is dimly lit, devoid of any atmosphere, I would say, because everyone's so busy going, did they see me? Did they see me? Oh, oh, oh. So there we have it. You have heard from Andrew Lownie exactly what he said. Now, We know his sources are incredibly well established in a variety of professions. Tick. We know Andrew Lownie is very trustworthy, very diligent. And what some of you may or may not know is Andrew Lownie is one of, if not the most successful literary agent in the UK. He is phenomenal. And so he does not attract insignificant sources. He attracts people of note that I would argue could be trusted more than other authors, perhaps. So, is Meghan linked to Epstein and Andrew? I don't know. Do I think that Andrew Lownie is going to get some incredibly big leads across the line? I have full faith in Andrew Lownie because he is not only a best-selling author, but he's just absolutely brilliant at his job. So to watch the full interview, head over to the Sean Atwood channel. And remember, people need to start making a stand with who they're hanging around with. You know, Meghan wants to wheel out Marcus at Paris Fashion Week. Marcus is working for a company whose chief executive has an incredibly patchy and controversial past. That's not cool. So don't be telling me about how you're protecting children online and how you are, you know, just there's a groundswell of this and that, because that is utter BS. I'm not buying it. You're grifty. My insiders aren't buying it. So, on that note, insiders, have a lovely day. And I will be back down the rabbit hole looking at bringing you more truth tomorrow.